Hello and welcome. This is Sunday Politics and I am Shafi'u Suleiman. This is a program where we discuss issues within the polity, especially those that have been, defined in the moment, those that have been taking the front burner of public discourse. And on the platform tonight, we'll be looking at the inauguration of the Northwest Peace and Security Summit in Katsina State, which is starting tomorrow. As a developing nation, Nigeria grapples with several security challenges that directly impact its economy, ranging from insurgency to conflicts between farmers and others, to organized crime, looting, abduction for ransom, and several others. And considering the fact that security is one of the fundamental responsibilities of every government, we'll be engaging a security and intelligence expert, on the expectations and, of course, the possible outcome, if you like, or what need to be discussed, at the Northwest Security Summit. As you are also very much aware, Northwest is one of the regions in Nigeria that has been battling with challenges of insecurity, especially terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping for ransom. And of course, governors of this sub-region, if you like, have been coming together to find solution to this lingering problem. At some point, they were in the United States to look at, the challenge and how they can tackle it. But here is another summit taking place in Nigeria. Some say security challenges, are local, or rather reasons for the challenge are locals, and the solution also need to be local. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And we have in the studio, just like I said earlier, a security and intelligence expert talking about Dr. Sani Aliyu. Doctor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me in the studio.
All right, in a moment from now, governors in the Northwest, perhaps, and other stakeholders, security experts will be brainstorming, if you like, to come up with solutions to this lingering problem, the insecurity that has been ravaging this region. It is a fact, perhaps, that the insecurity, especially in the Northwest, has, slowed down development. It has also negatively impacted the economy. It has also exacerbated the issue of poverty, and so on. What do you think what do you think about the summit? Do you think it's coming at the right time?
Well, I think the summit should have much more earlier than this, but it's better too late than never. Essentially, what Nigeria is going through today in terms of economic hardship and our retarded agricultural activities in our farms, especially in the Northwest, where it's assumed to be the food basket of the nation.
That's right.
Has become a very serious problem and issue for the country at large. And that is why you find essentials like the tomatoes and other things are very cost in this country today. So coming up at this time to look at the problem and see how the solution can be proper is apt, and I think it is time for us to tell ourselves the truth, to look at the remote causes of these problems, and look at our faces and say, these are the involvement.
Yeah.
Do we have foreign involvement? We should talk about it. We shouldn't shy away from all the nitty-gritties, all the factors that is leading to all this problem. Is it because of our mineral resources, solid minerals that is abundant in gold in the Northwest? Is it because of some people who think that they want to degrade the North as a whole? Is it because of some certain conspiracy theories and otherwise? We must look at this problem as it is, or as they are, and then tell ourselves the truth if we really want to deal with this situation.
Right.
And so I challenge all the governors to come up with what they have and then bring it out as it is, so that solutions can be defined during this conference. It is very important.
Yes, you talked about, which is fundamental, the need to look at the triggers, the factors that are militated against the efforts to deal with the insecurity, especially in the Northwest. You mentioned a number of issues, but let's start with, because fundamentally there is need to look at, why Northwest and why insecurity, this persistent insecurity. There are a number of issues, for instance. You mentioned some of them. But looking at, the basis or the basics, so to speak, let's start with the issue of governance, which is fundamental. Now, the governors are leaders at the subnational levels, and, the issue of security rests, on their shoulders. They are chief security officers of their respective states, and they are taking up this responsibility to discuss, how would you rate, let's look at the Northwest, for instance. How would you rate the responses so far from Zamfara to Katsina to Kaduna to Niger, to Sokoto to Kebbi and Kano? Kano is relatively peaceful when it comes to that. Yes. So how would you rate the responses?
Well, it is true. Security as it is at the subnational level rests on the shoulders of the governors. But if you want to look at the fundamental problem of this insecurity, especially in the Northwest, is you cannot shy away the federal government involvement or the need for the federal government to take some certain actions because of its position in terms of providing security, national security and safety for the nation. The Northwest generally is grappled with a lot of porous borders that are unmanned, totaling unmanned borders in Nigeria, totaling 1,050 unmanned borders in Nigeria. It's appalling to say a country like Nigeria, with all our so-called the biggest black nation the most populous black nation in the world, can have our borders, 150 of our borders porous, without any body manning them. So first issue is the porosity of our borders. The governors doesn't have that capacity to talk to customs or to talk to immigrations or to they don't control.
The center does that.
Yes, they don't have that control. The center has that, unless otherwise. As the Tinubu is listening president today, he has maybe talking about. Let me digress a little. He has given the governors the right to generate powers in their state. So also, if Tinubu say, okay, let's decentralize security and allow all state governors to prefer border securities in their borders, I think that is going to be the first starting point of securing the states, especially those states that are within the border lines, like Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, and other states. So if you look at Kano, why Kano is quiet is because Kano is really a little bit deep inside and has no any
Kano and Jigawa,
and they don't have any borders around them. So any country.
But Jigawa has borders with Niger, for instance. Okay, I think even Kano, I don't know, but I think Jigawa has Megatari border with Niger. Let's look at the theme for this conference. It is tagged Regional Cooperation for Securing Lives and Livelihoods. Now, regional cooperation. This has been one of the issue experts and other stakeholders have been conversing for. You cannot address insecurity in isolation. There must be cooperation to be able to tame this monster. Before now, just like I asked earlier, the governors have been taking a different approach, to the issue. Now they've realized the need for regional cooperation. This insecurity, happen within the borders. It from one state to the other. We'll come back to one thing you mentioned earlier, but then, what do you make up with their resolve to now put at the center of focus the need for regional cooperation?
Well, it is just what is required of them to do, much earlier than this, because you cannot, like you said, operate in isolation, especially when you are bordering other countries. And that is why it is very key that the President Tinubu was quick at reversing the stand and position with the Niger people, because we cannot afford to have any dispute, escalating dispute between Nigeria and Niger Republic because of our borders communities.
So many things, cultural affiliations,
a lot of affiliations,
religious affiliations, and so on.
And so on and so forth. So the governors taking this stand now is very important and it's very key. They must, for instance, the governor of Katsina State must be able to have cooperation with the Marathi governor or whatever state that is within Niger, that is closer to his border, so that they will have that collaboration between them,
synergy,
and exchange of intelligence and all those. So it is very, very important to ensure that this border community and the state in particular is absolutely safe.
Yeah, okay, talking about having a cooperation with Niger Republic, which is very key, is one of the countries in the Chad Basin that are working with Nigeria to deal with this. But then within the states, we've seen some sort of approach, local approach now. You talked about the fact that security architecture is not, controlled by the subnational governors, but they are coming up with quasi, if you like, outfits. Like in Zamfara, they have an outfit, security watch also, and then they have in Zamfara also. There is one in Kaduna as well. So, but talking about collaboration, how do you think, beyond just having the summit, how do you think they can integrate, or bring together some of these regional outfits to be able to have a single force they can work together and tackle this?
Well, in my position as the Commandant General of Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization.
You have the experience already.
I have this experience, and we have been talking about this collaboration over many years. And unfortunately, it is coming up now. The governors have seen that they cannot shy away from this collaboration. But like I say, it looks maybe archaic to say the least, that even our security, constitutional security organizations find it very difficult to collaborate with quasi-organizations like NESO. And the intelligence report is the key to success of any insecurity. And the people with this intelligence are people like us at the grassroots. That's at the local level, because if you want to look at the demographic of NESO, you will see that it is the only organization that has national head and indigenous arms, meaning that all our state officers and local government officers are indigenous within their state and domicile in their communities.
The point is,
so they have more information.
Yes. What role have you been playing, and how much have you been, of help to the state outfits first, and then to the established security agencies like the police, the military, because you said you have membership across the country.
Over 70,000.
So what role have you been playing in dealing with the situation in the Northwest, for instance?
Well, I will tell you this, as it is today, we have been working assiduously, especially with the Nigerian military, in terms of providing intelligence report for them, and in terms of even be at the forefront at the war zone. You understand what I'm saying? So we have been practically assisting the Nigerian military. But talking about the state governors, most times, or almost 70% of our efforts to reach out to them, to sell out these ideas for them, becomes very, very, very not successful, because you write to them, they find it very difficult to, because one thing that comes to our mind is, the first thing they start thinking is, what is going to be their benefit?
Well, can you establish any instance where somebody who is facing security challenge will tell you that how much or what do I get?
No, you see, trusting, because it's just like when we brought this, the idea of house-to-house security profiling in Borno State.
Okay.
At the time, the former chief of Army Staff, Brute, was not even buying the idea, but because of trust. But with time, he now realized that that is the main way of expunging Boko Haram from the metropolitan. Right. And it works very well, because that was the only, earlier, you would just walk into a house, if you are a youth, maybe you have dreadlock or something, the army will arrest you, beat you, or without even knowing whether you are part of Boko Haram or not. But by the time we deploy our boys that are indigenous boys, that they are aware, they know this Boko Haram, they were at one time in schools together, we are able to succeed.
Talking about, securing lives and livelihoods, which is the fundamental responsibility of every government. Now, it appears, it's beyond, the states, because they've been finding it difficult, to address this problem. Due to obvious reasons you mentioned earlier, they don't control security, but they control resources, for instance, and they have what they call security votes, even though it may not be constitutionally recognized. But then a lot of money is being expended on this quasi-security outfits. Also, some of them support even the mainstream security agencies like the police, for instance. How would you rate, the commitment of this governance, for instance, in terms of providing the necessary logistics?
I want to correct you on one impression.
Yeah.
There is no any much spending on quasi-organization, because as it is, NESU.
No, I'm not talking about quasi-organization. Yes, I'm talking about the spendings.
The spendings.
On the security.
When you are talking of the spendings on the security, it means supporting the security organization that can help in providing, in procuring intelligence or security for the
and then the established security agencies, the police. I've seen states that provide vehicles,
of course,
communication gadgets, and so on.
That's why I say I want to correct an impression. When you say the police or other government security agency, yes, the governors are doing very fantastic there. They are helping them, because they don't as well trust the quasi-security organization to think that they are going to give them support. No matter how you see it, we as the quasi-security organization, we are just giving our own out of volunteerism. Okay. Nobody is giving anybody anything. Even with all the effort, with all the achievement we are making in this country, I will not tell you today there is a vote or a provision for any of our expenditure.
Right. Okay. You are playing your role as citizens of the country and providing the fact that security is everyone's business, isn't it? But then let's look at one other aspect of the theme before we open the line, because the conversation is going to be, interactive, so to speak. We're going to involve the audience. Now, the theme says that the state's governments are exploring sustainable approaches to advancing food security. The nexus between the insecurity and the current food insecurity that is ravaging the country. How would you, explain this because you are part of the security system? To what extent does this insecurity substantially, affect the food security of the country?
To a very, very, very large extent. Because farmers do not go to their farms again, because they don't have access to going to their farms. And those farmers that have access to go to their farms, they pay taxes. Bandits levy to
be able to access their farms.
And then the terrorists, the Boko Haram members too. So to be able to access their farm. And then at will, the bandits or terrorists will just go into the farm and maybe burn off waste all the food items and so on and so forth. So to a large extent, this has affected the food production and food security of this country. The only way we can get get back things is to ensure that we have securities, available security within the hinterlands where these farming activities is taking a lot place. That's why I gave
urban spaces.
That's why I gave I raised my thumb to the governor of Niger State for his idea of bringing in a lot of tractors to farm. But it's not about bringing in the tractors. It's not about the land.
The farmland.
It's about securing the farmland and the safety of the farmers and those who will be working from time to time within those farming areas. So if there is no security, then that total investment is assumed to be waste. And so we are calling on President Tinubu, and I hope this conference will equally look at the need to ensure that there is another going back to drawing board immediately to redesign our security system and to come out from reaction to become proactive. Because what we have today is reactional security arrangement. We don't have proactive. You can't know any security. I challenge all the security agents, all the head of the security agents, to tell me the story of 10 years to come security arrangement for Nigeria.
How it's going to be.
How it's going to be.
The outlook.
But
there is a master plan. The nation security
if there is a master plan, they will have understood that the break of Libya will summon to this problem we are facing in Nigeria today.
Okay, I think it's about time we engage the audience. This is a very fundamental issue that affects everyone's life. Security of lives and property is cardinal. So let's get to hear from you, the audience. What are your thoughts on this Northwest Peace and Security Summit that is taken up, in Katsina, one of the states that has been ravaged by, banditry and of course terrorism, so to speak. Kidnap or ransom, mass kidnap or ransom. Right about now, our governors are converging on that state to discuss the issue of security and proper solutions. The said is to foster sustainable lives. To secure lives and sustain livelihoods. Okay, let's hear from you. But while the calls come in, we still have issues to talk about. Yeah, you raise an issue. Now that the governors are having what they call the Peace and Security Summit. Yes. Fundamentally, this issue of insecurity is tied to, the factors are there, very, very well known. Poverty, injustice, what do you call it now? Poverty, injustice, unemployment, and so on. So I think we have a caller on the line. So let's hear you. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm fine. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening, how are you?
Good evening. What's your name? Hello? Are you there? Oh, okay, I think we lost that call. So keep the calls coming. And I was talking about the triggers, the factors aiding this insecurity. One of them is poverty, for instance. And this has to do with governance issue. Beyond just talking, how do you think the governors should respond to some of this governance deficit? There's
a very important matter, and it's very frightening, that we need to mention on this program.
Okay, I think we have another caller. Just a moment. Hello, who do we have on the line? Hello? Okay, go ahead, please.
Like I was saying.
Oh, we have another. Sorry for the interruption. Hello, who do we have on the line?
Good morning.
Good evening.
Good evening, well done.
Yes.
Yeah, you are having Mr. Unique on the line.
Mr. Emeka?
Thank you.
Where are you calling from?
Unique from Kogi State.
Oh, Unique from Kogi State. Okay, you are very much unique. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So, the issue of insecurity, I think government have a major role to play, an individual.
Yes.
Has a role to play, because one, you see, at times you see strange people in your community. You don't know where they come from.
Okay, Unique.
Then the head of the local government cannot deny to the fact that they don't understand or they don't know how they come about.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Unique is talking about perhaps collapse of governance at the local level, which has been a very fundamental issue. The fact that security architecture or security system at the local level has breakdown, so to speak. Communication between traditional institutions, security agencies at the local level, identifying people who are strange in the community and so on.
That is why in my organization, NESO, we adopted that national head and indigenous arms. The people that are operating at the state, local government, and villages are indeed indigenous of such state. And so that it's easier for them to profile and identify who is the citizen of the place, who is a visitor, why is he there. When they see strange faces, they can easily identify. And that was why it was a success in Maiduguri. Like
traditionally, we know, the local traditional institution has been working in collaboration with security agencies at the local level. If you recall the days of the Endoka and all of that, and how, traditional rulers are given that responsibility. Okay, we have a caller. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. Okay, you recall those days, where entry into communities is checkmated. Who comes in and all of that. Yeah.
By citizens.
Not necessarily
by citizens.
The traditional rulers also.
Because the information starts from that person on the street, who will see you and greet you and ask, you are strange here, where are you going to? And you tell him you are coming to the community for what? He will just profile informally. Before you know, he has passed the message to one person to the next person.
Okay, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Shafi'u, Suleiman.
Yes, good evening. Who do we have on the line?
And the guest in the studio, once again, good evening. You are speaking to Shawaki from Akonga Nasarawa State.
Oh, okay. Please go ahead.
Yeah, on the issue of national security, in fact, security is everybody's business.
Yeah.
And the federal government are not taking any proactive on this issue. And the worst part is this hardship also increased the issue of banditry, insecurity, and the rest as far as Nigeria is concerned.
Right.
As I'm speaking to, even in my area, we can no longer see with our two eyes again. So the advice is the federal government should do the right thing. They should increase, or they should bring another modality how they can tackle this insecurity before it will get out of hand. Because as I'm speaking to you, every blessing day, unless if you're not watching television, killings here and there.
Yeah,
so this is.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts on the security summit taking place in Katsina? What do you think need to be, what need to engage the minds of the governors?
Yeah, in fact, the governor of Katsina is trying, because the last time we saw where the security killed so many on non-government. So the federal government should also see they can render assistance to him, because he alone he cannot be able to cope up. So they should increase more security in that state, because the Katsina that we know is not the Katsina we are seeing today.
Right, okay. Thank you very much for your contributions. Yes,
the mistrust that has been created now between the Fulanis and the Hausas is a very big problem. And I expect them at this summit to have a flash into the brewing problem now. That they have already saw a discord between the harmonious, once upon a time, harmonious living coexistence tribes.
But farmers had a conflict here, some would say, is an existential problem.
No, this is no longer farmers-herders conflict. It has become Hausa and Fulani's conflict in the north, around Zamfara, Axis and the rest. No, now it is a very disturbing situation. I think this conference should provide a very good platform to to assemble the community leaders and talk to them.
Yeah, perhaps maybe part of the reconciliatory efforts, peace and reconciliation
yes,
efforts.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think if I understand what you're trying to talk about, some say, there has been lapses on the part of the state governors in handling this conflict between farmers and herders, especially in Zamfara, in Sokoto, perhaps in Kebbi. There has been this conflict being exacerbated by this Ensake, those vigilante and then it becomes an ethnic, if you like, yes, an ethnic thing. For the Ensake, largely the Hausas, while the bandits are seen to be Fulanis and so on. So is that what you were talking about?
That is why the coordination of the National Security Advisor to the President is very, very key and important. Because if the police are suspicious of vigilante groups, if the military is equally suspicious of them, and they cannot operate without these people, then there is the need for the National Security Advisor to bring them in harmony and maybe educate them on how to profile security to this area. Because the lack of that education used to bring this conflict, that the Fulani herder will look at as if he's being attacked deliberately and his cattle are carted away and so on and so forth, and then he's left without anywhere to fall back to. The government is not there for them, and then nobody,
absence of government.
So there is the need for this coming together, this summit, like what happened to us in how we intervene in Yobe State. We bring all the ROs together and the chiefs of the communities together in Yobe State, and we talk to them. And since about 6-7 years ago that I went to Yobe myself to intervene in this conflict, there is no such harder community conflict again.
Okay, I'm sure the summit would have to bring together all the critical stakeholders. The farmers would have to be there, the pastoralists would have to be there too as well. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good evening. Okay, we lost that call. Keep calling. The number is on your screen. Okay. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes, who do we have on the line?
Good evening. Hello.
Yes, who do we have on the line?
You're calling Suleiman from Nasarawa.
Suleiman from Nasarawa. Go ahead.
I want to say this. The government that came in, they were thinking of employing enough security. Army, and even the police. You see, if we want to tackle this problem, really, we need more security in the country. And another thing is that, can't we go deep to find out who are the people giving all this arm to this insurgents? We should not just be saying, these people are threatening us. But there are some people who are behind giving them arm to terrorize the country. Can government at least go into in-depth investigation to find out who are the people supporting, giving these people money to terrorize the country?
Okay.
That's the only way we can actually solve this problem. If we allow them to continue terrorizing us, then insecurity for food and whatever will continue. I will continue to suffer in this country.
Thank you very much, Suleiman. He has raised two fundamental issues. The need for more boots on the ground, and also talking about the need to identify sponsors of this conflict. Over time, government has been talking about, arresting terrorism financiers and so on. Sometimes you find names mentioned, but that's the end of it. And even the names, some felt that, it is skewed. There are certain expectations as to the wider sponsors of crime, beyond just the ones mentioned, for instance. But hold your breath, and I'll get the caller, and then we'll return back. Okay, so you can go ahead now.
Well, good evening.
Okay, we have hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Abdullah from Niger State.
Abdullah from Niger State. Are you part of Shiroro or those areas that have been ravaged by bandits?
No, but I'm just here. I just received the news and I want to contribute on it.
Go ahead, please.
the issue of security.
Yes.
My contribution is that those vigilantes groups.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead.
I want government to put effort on, and put effort on them and give them some material, because they are well tried in Niger State.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we've got your message. Yes, you made the point. Thank you very much. His point is the need to, provide the necessary logistics to especially the local arrangement security. But I know there is a limitation as to what the state governors can do. But let's answer the first two questions and then we'll go to this.
What you see, the issue of adding to the securities that he said, I've been an advocate of this for a very long time, that we need to create another security organization, because Nigeria, for all intent and purposes today, as it is, stands number 8 most terrorized country in the world. We were number 3rd, we were third earlier around 2015, 16, third most terrorized country today. But with some improvement, we have become number 8. We are among the first 10, still not good enough. You understand what I'm saying? So, and if you look at the damage done by act of terrorism, it was worse than Nigerian civil war. The people, the lives that have lost, they were lost, and property was far outweighs the life lost during the Nigerian civil war. So what is expected to a government, from the government, is to look at it with all seriousness, just like Obasanjo did when there was infractions in the area of national assets. You see the breakage of pipelines, the vandalization of electricity, and all those, and he adopted civil defense to be government-owned organization to make sure that that area is protected of critical government installations. Now, the lives and property lost to terrorism is higher than what it was happening to national critical infrastructure. So the government need to create an organization that is saddled with the responsibility of and given the mandate, constitutional mandate, to counter terrorism.
But we have counter-terrorism units.
No, these are units.
At the military?
That's why the government cannot hold anybody responsible. If you create an organization today that is called counter-terrorism organization, their mandate is to counter terrorism and insurgency. If there is no performance, you can actually sack the head of the organization.
But is it about sacking? We've seen how even the present administration now relieved the service chiefs of their responsibilities and brought in, a new set of security chiefs. Has that changed any
It's
situation?
not about service chiefs, please. The military purview is not to fight terrorism.
Internal security.
The purview of the constitutional purview of the Nigerian military is to protect the territorial integrity of the nation, and police is to maintain peace and order. There is no any organization in Nigeria that is dedicated to fighting to counter terrorism and insurgency. It's a special case, a very critical area of crime. If you look at the Americans that we are copying, they have what is called Homeland Security. After 9/11, they went back to their drawing board and quickly came up.
So you want something?
So we need to. The president has no option but to create. Now, what is the use of the center, the counter-terrorism center, without foot soldiers? What is the need of that center? Who are you going to? What are they doing? If you say you have units in the military and unit in the police countering terrorism, then why do you have a center? It means there is something that is missing. There's a missing link somewhere. And look, fighting terrorism is not about kinetic. There is non-kinetic.
That's what we'll be talking about.
There's no kinetic. Because there are sponsors. There are the banks they are using. There's a lot of other. It's a multifacial problem.
It's a cartel. It's a network.
It's a network. So you need an organization that is dedicated to study all this network, find them, block them, the channels of supply and all. You see, like we said, Nigeria has 1,000 150 porous borders.
Unmanned borders, yeah.
Unmanned borders.
Okay, now talking about the non-kinetic aspect, because I think this what should also take large chunk of the conversation. Experts believe that enough of the bombs, enough of the fighter jets, enough of all of that. There is need to tackle the issue from the grassroots. That is addressing the governance deficit. Substantially will address the problem. Today, it is exacerbated. I mean, the insecurity is exacerbated by unemployment, for instance. Youths are finding themselves available, foot soldiers for crime and criminals and so on. So how do you think this can be addressed, changing the narrative or rechanneling the funding, the investment towards non-kinetic measures?
Well, like I said, this problem is a multifacial problem and it has to take multidimensional measures.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? We cannot just provide the solutions here. Yeah. But the truth is that a journey of 1,000 miles
begins with a step. Right.
And so this conference should be a place where the nakedity of the whole thing will be opened.
Right.
And then people will look at it facially or directly and see this is where the problem is.
You think we are yet to know the problem? We are yet to know the reasons for the problem?
We are shying away from the fact.
Oh, okay.
Because the government will tell us, like you said, the government will say we know the sponsors of these people. They will give you
a I think we have a caller. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm fine. Your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Abubakar Abdullahi Dashe.
Okay, Abubakar, from where?
From Jos.
From Jos. Okay, Abubakar, go ahead, please.
Okay, about security, yes, in the first place, I commend the doctor for his explanation, but the issue of security, I so blame government seriously because primarily the responsibility of internal security lies on the police force. Now the police have been neglected. No recruitment, nothing. They have been neglected, no arms. Army have been brought in to take care of even checkpoints in the towns. I was a policeman. You see, in those good days, you will have outposts manned by policemen. With the assistance of the communities, you will have no problem like bandits and other crimes. But the reverse is the case. The police have been neglected. Let me just tell you, unfortunately, the police now don't have anything. Go to the police station now and complain that you have been wronged somewhere. The police will say they have no fuel, there is nothing. The issue now is that IG will give Commissioner of Police vehicles and say go and manage, know how to maintain your vehicles and fuel. Commissioner of Police will give divisional police officers vehicles. Go and know how to manage. Please, government have decided to institutionalize corruption. And the corruption is what is eating deep into our internal security.
All right. Thank you very much.
So it is unfortunate that if police are so empowered, given enough equipment, they can perform wonders. Right. Why do they perform better outside than in Nigeria?
Right.
Because they have not been taken care of.
Thank you very much.
Dilapidated structures, the lack of proper care. I mean, what is this? The government should address this. The police are the only, the police are including civil defense. They can take care of internal security, not the army.
Okay, thank you very much. I think
let me not take much of your time.
Yeah, I think you've made the point already. Thank you very much. Talking about over involvement of the military in internal security operation. He talked about that, which is, a number of people have been raising this concern. They need to, hand over the security to the civil authorities. And then two, he talks about, the negligence or the neglect of the police, so to speak, lacking the necessary logistics to operate. He cited an example which is very, very clear. Nigerians understand this. Sometimes you go to police stations, you have to buy even the paper that they're going to write you or take your statement and so on. So how do you think all of this help in deepening the crisis?
Well, those are the issues, some of the issues. And again, I look at Nigeria sometimes as a big joke. This is a country with 923 point something thousand, 923 or something thousand, 100,000 kilometers, sorry.
Yeah, square kilometer.
Square kilometer.
Right.
And with a population of over 200 million people. Total number of the security, including the military and all of them, they are less than 1 million, about 700,000. And you expect 700,000 or less than 1 million population of security and security members to procure security for over 200 million people that are spread in 923,000 square kilometers.
774 local governments.
774 local governments. Is it not a huge joke?
Yeah, but some will say, it is not about the boots. It's about security has taken a new dimension. Intelligence, information technology and the rest of it.
Where do you have those technology? Where is any of the technology applied? Let's not be deceiving ourselves. We are having 60% of Nigerian population are vibrant youths, most of them unemployed. If you go to, just take Egypt for instance. Egypt is a population of about 100 million people. Their police is over 1 million. The population of police. Nigeria police just about 333,000.
So you think the numbers are largely insignificant? I mean, insufficient.
If they're insufficient, that's why I'm advocating they should create another listing. The involvement of the military in this whole thing has actually demeaned the Nigerian military. Nigerian military, for all intent and purposes, was one of the most feared military in Africa.
We're beginning to see some of those outcomes, fallout. Recently, there was an attack of military personnel in a market, for instance, and all of that. Yes,
but then, even here in Niger, telling insulting our military to go and fight Boko Haram.
Okay. Lastly, because we're rounding up now, beyond the security summit, some will say there is need for hunger summit also, because hunger, largely has connection to this insecurity we are talking about. Do you agree with that? Well,
I will tell you truly today that insecurity gave birth to Nigerian hunger, not the other way around.
Okay.
Because
thank you.
The insecurity pervading our local communities make the fallout of our farmers from their activities, and then that gave rise to hunger.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sani Aliyu, a security and intelligence expert, for talking to us on Sunday Politics. And viewers, that's a wrap on today's, this week edition of the program. We do hope those, taking part in the summit may have get one or two takeaways from that, and then we'll put it in the larger picture. Thank you very much once again for being with us. On this note, we come to the end of the program. I'm Shafi'u Suleiman, standing in for your regular host, Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching.